Okay, let's cross. It's a university. It's like
like no one would care about it because they will go like I think for now like this year it was so like really big classes people don't care about kind of like a decision made. Yeah, this year it's machine learning
really need to come in here if you're doing something. We were so close. Thanks, y'all. It's great to see so many old faces, but also a bunch of new faces. It was really fun last night, and hope to look forward to getting to meet everybody today. We have got. Yeah. Oh, there's my welcome slide. I'm going to give you a quick orientation about what's going to go on here. If you've seen, we have a few rooms. There is the cafeteria way back that way. You all came in through the yellow door and in through the kind of workshop area, and then this is going to be where the presentations go on. We've got 2 days. SSID is Hackaday, password is Hackaday LC26, all caps on LC. The badge this year, this is the communicator badge. It is a LoRa radio and a fantastic keyboard designed for us by Arturo 182. And I was like, oh, he did some really cool things, and I can't even remember what was the first hack of yours I saw. But anyway, I had been following this guy for a while, and then I start up at Hackaday, and I'm a brand new writer, and it's 2014, and we have the first ever super conference in Munich, and I happen to have just moved to Munich, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. So I go there, and I get to meet this guy, and he is so fantastic. He gives a keynote talk there. It was lovely. A few years later, SuperCon here and there in LA, etc. Long story short, it is absolutely fantastic when you see people whose works you super admire, and then you get to meet them and you get to continue hanging out with them. And that's what I think is lovely about Hackaday community in general, is that there are so many people in here who do really so many awesome things, and yet we're all just normal nerds, and we can all hang out together. And so, thank you very much. And without further ado, super duper normal nerd, Sprite TM, presenting his retro PC made out of chips from 40 years ago.
You need graphics cards, and you need RAM, and you need NVMe's as well, and power supplies and stuff, and then you still need to buy the games. Maybe not build a powerful gaming PC is a good idea here. But like the thing is that games, like not all games were made yesterday. Gaming has a rich history that goes back to say the 70s even. And there's more games than anyone in their lifetime could ever play. So there's still a whole bunch of historical games that are pretty damn good that I haven't played yet. So maybe rather than and the other nice thing is those games nowadays are pretty cheap. If you actually want to buy them, if you want to go the pirate route, then they're even cheaper. But let's not talk about that. So maybe we should build a powerful retro gaming PC instead. So what kinda? So the issue with this board is that it's got two BGAs. Well, one of the two BGAs is not an issue. This is the FPGA. It's an ECP5. It's got 381 balls underneath it. And while that sounds intimidating, it's actually easier to solder than you think. If you want to know how to solder this, look up YouTube videos from, for instance, Louis Rossmann or other people who rework modern laptop mainboards, and they can tell you exactly how to reflow a BGA. And that works great. I get like a success rate of maybe 80 to 90% with these. And the great thing is, if I mess up, it's always very recognizable. Like half of the balls don't make contact and the other half is shorted. You notice that when you boot up the device. This chip, however, this chip. So this is an older technology. It has fewer balls, I think 250-ish, than my FPGA. And it's a lot larger, it's 4 times as large. Aside from that, it's also clearly made out of two materials, the carrier as well as the epoxy bit in the middle. And they're not the same size, the carrier sticks out. And that makes it really hard to reflow, at least using the hot air reflow method that I use. And 1 megabyte of that is about the same price. Middle bit is the CPU, 486 goes here. 486s normally, as you might know, come in a pin grid array package. So that's the purple blocks with the golden pins under it. I decided to go for an SMD variant because they were a little bit easier to get on Taobao and a little bit cheaper. As well as this is a single board computer, and I think it fits the idea of a single board computer a little bit better. VGA chip, also very big, plus the video RAM that goes along with it, same SMD type package as the CPU. FPGA lives here, next to the main memory, very dense ball grid array thing. Let's see, ESP32 lives here, and it's connected to the micro SD card, and it's connected to bits of the USB-C thing. It does a little bit of power negotiation in order to make sure you don't connect it to like an output that can only deliver 500 milliamp, because that's a little bit too little to run an entire CPU off. USB hub is here, and I just added like 4 USB ports, one for keyboard, one for mouse. I don't support USB mass storage in software yet, but in theory you could, like SSD1 drive or floppy drive or whatever. And the I2S DAC is here, below the VGA ports for the audio. So, after a bunch of routing and after a bunch of me soldering things, I got the thing back. Few watches only. I was actually pretty happy with how well it worked and how little rework I had to do, but I forgot a few pull-ups and pull-downs, which is not that bad. I misinterpreted the data sheet, connected the boot capacitor to the wrong pins. Also a fairly easy rework. This is actually not necessarily a rework, but it turns out that the FPGA, you need to pull a pin low in order to reprogram it, so this makes development a little bit easier. It's not needed if you just want to run it as a PC, but you know. This was a bit of a mistake. I messed up the upstream and the downstream port on my USB hub. I have no idea what I did there. And this is supposed to be on the bottom, and certainly not because after like 20 years of not using it, I forgot what gender VGA ports have. This is now high because it wants to write something. Next cycle it'll put the data here. Obviously it runs Doom. Well done. So Doom takes a while to load. That is also consistent with what I remember. Luckily I have something that modern things don't have, a hard disk indicator light. Power light is RGB and also seconds as an indicator light. So Doom, your old standard thing. Frame rate is like what you would expect of a 486 this era, which is just like 100%. Oh yeah, so the audio that you don't hear is adjusted via the via OSD. So what I just did was go into OSD and press the plus a bunch of times in order. Oh, we hear audio. Excellent. Well, Doom sounds. Well, I mean, you know Doom. So let's exit out. And now I need to press the Y button, which this thing doesn't have as a keyboard button. So I implemented a virtual keyboard in order to be able to enter this. So back to here. Next thing I wanted to show is Prince of Persia 2, and I'm glad that audio works, because this actually uses general MIDI in order to output the soundtrack. And you can compare that to the quality of the voice, the narration that will be there. You can hear that the PCM audio is kinda of this era, as in it's crunchy, it's low bitrate, etc. While the synthesized music is more what you would expect from like a powerhouse, like a modern SoC. And yeah, it sounds really great. So I can't for the life of me remember in time what button you need to use to pull your sword, so I die here. And then I need to exit, which is Ctrl Q for some reason. So virtual keyboard again. And we're out. And now I forget to unselect the Control key. So this is when you have your thumb on the touchpad, the A and B buttons are actually transformed into mouse buttons, which is actually decently, you get used to it pretty quickly. The only downside is that when you lift your thumb, that the two buttons suddenly aren't mouse buttons anymore, so you do get a few misclicks that way. But aside from that, it's pretty playable. I'm now trying to get some disaster to destroy my nuclear power plant. Minesweeper. And on that note, I would like to end the presentation. Oh, that's a slide that's not supposed to be there. Thank you for listening. If you want to have a play around with this, just find me and I'll hand it to you. You can play a game of Jackrabbit or any of the other things that are on there. If you're interested in the actual code and stuff, as I said, the Codework repo is there. I now have a Mastodon with Fediverse type thing, so if you want to add me there, then feel free to. If not, then also email works, and if not, then just saying hi here works as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed.
We actually do the photolithography by first putting jump in nanoscopic switch, gigahertz yield, comes to life with electric field. Digital resist when the wafers are spun. Implant ions with accelerator gun. Rinse and repeat in the fab till it's done. 50 layers deep, built one by one. Yeah, it's a silly whiz. I'll tell you what it is. Lithography, kinda like photography. Typically designed perfectly, no one. The one of it.
As it happens, the spell tome could do exactly that. Like, it's reusable. You can do a lot of things with it, and not just use it for pen and paper role-playing games, or use it for more than just one campaign. I have actually an example for a failed project here, because my players were befriending a little bug.
Some of you may have seen a couple teenagers. They're sitting over there in the front left. Hack Club is an online community of teenagers who all come together and make things. Some projects that you may have seen online that were made by Hack Clubbers, that's the Ice Pie Zero. It is a FPG.